Hello, and welcome back. We've got module 4 this week, all about curated content, which is a super quick way to get some great content to share on social media. So, a quick reminder of where we've come from. We looked at creating a power hour originally, where we were looking at which platforms you were going to use and how often you wanted to post. Then we spent a bit of time looking at your 5 core themes. These are the things you're going to talk about on social. We've then looked in Canva about how you can use templates to create lots of images in one go. It should be super quick once you get it up and running. And this week, we're going to look at the curation strategy before next week going on to implement what we've been learning. So I'm going to cover what I mean by curation and why it's useful. And then I'm going to give you lots and lots of ideas of ways to find content. And then the last bit is looking at how you put yourself a curation strategy together. So curation is when you're looking at other people's content and then you are choosing the best bits to share to your audience. This is an example that Marie Forleo put together recently. And she normally produces her own Marie TV YouTube channel. Instead of doing that, she curated a whole load of sources of information relevant to Black Lives Matter. So she made an anti-racism resource and put together guides from Black educators on ways to take action, as it says here. So this is a great example. She's not creating the content herself, but she's adding value by bringing it together and presenting it to her audience. This is Luann Wise, who is a British social media person who I think does some really nice stuff. This is her Facebook, and she's recommending Simon Sinek, which does look good actually, a book club, where he's reading a book and she says she's going to watch it. So that's her content, is talking about what he's up to and the fact that she likes it. And then on her Instagram stories, she's put together a list of all the local events. She's based in Gloucestershire in the UK, and so she's talking about what's on for businesses local to her. Both great examples of curated content. Donna Moritz is Australian. She's really big and talks about visual apps to make your social content look good. But here she is on her Twitter account, and she's put together a list of 13 digital marketing blogs that she recommends. So she's actively signposting her audience to go and look at other people's digital marketing blogs. And this works really well for her. I read her stuff. Lots and lots of people follow her because she brings such great stuff. She helps me find really great stuff. So why curate content? I hope the examples we just quickly looked at give you an idea. It positions you as an expert and demonstrates your expertise because of the choice of things that you're bringing to your audience. It demonstrates your network. It shows who you're reading, who you think is important, who you're connected with, and that tells your audience more about you. It's a quick way that you can offer your audience lots of good value, and it is quite a quick way of generating content and quite fun. I enjoy doing it. It also helps you be found by new people, because when you put the ats and the mentions in your content when you're sharing it, it can be seen by the audience of those people, and that in that way you become findable to new people. So, some research tools. How do you find great content to share? And the trick is that we want you to do it quickly and efficiently and consistently. So I'm going to walk you through a range of different ways of doing this. And at the end, the homework is to ask you to pick one method that fits for you, one or two methods per theme. So if you can take each theme, have a look at the different suggestions I've got here. Don't be overwhelmed by them. Just pick one or two and write them down at the end so that you know where you're going to look for curated content on each of your themes. And hopefully this means that you'll be super quick at finding it when you are planning your content out for the week. So the first place to go and look for content to share is your social media. So on Facebook, when you share stuff, it's called a share. On Twitter, it's a retweet. LinkedIn, it's a share. And Instagram, it's a regram. So this is where you're sharing other people's content on your platforms. I've done a little video of this about how to use Facebook. It's on the module page. Essentially, your strategy with Facebook is to actively follow accounts that are giving content relevant to your themes. You need to choose a few accounts to follow that come up with good content. And then you go look in your pages feed to see their posts, which gives you ideas of things that you can then share. Not all of their posts will appear in your feed because of the Facebook algorithm. In general, maybe about 10% of the pages that you like actually succeed in getting their post to appear in your feed. So I also talked to you about a way to use Hootsuite, and there are lots of other tools available. I'm just showing you Hootsuite, where you can consistently follow all their posts and find good content. If you can just click and share once you're in your pages feed or in Hootsuite, you can actually schedule your posts when you reshare them. So if you're trying to schedule out content for the week ahead using something like Hootsuite or Facebook Creator are both ways that you can find a post, click to share it, and choose when it's shared. And both of those are covered in the video that I've done. Twitter, I think Twitter is fantastic for researching content. Same process if you're using Twitter as you choose some accounts to follow that are relevant to your themes. You can also in Twitter search on hashtags though, so that brings you loads of new content quite quickly and easily. If you find something, you can just retweet it. That will go out immediately. It's not scheduled. If you want to schedule a retweet, you need to use a free tool. TweetDeck is the main one that people use for Twitter. Hootsuite will also do the same thing for Twitter. There are other things that you can do on Twitter, which are to use people's Twitter lists. And there's also now a topics function where you can set your Twitter account up to look for particular topics. I haven't done a video on that yet because I don't think any of you are using Twitter. But if you are and you'd like a demo, I'll walk you through it because Twitter is very, very rich in good content. LinkedIn, the strategy on LinkedIn is, again, you follow people with relevant content. You can also use hashtags. You can just go in and search on a hashtag, and then you share content from your LinkedIn page. If you're sharing it, it's unscheduled. You can copy and paste links to schedule things in Hootsuite if you'd like to schedule posts out in the coming week. Remember when you do this to use the @person name, at whoever it is you're sharing the content from to make sure that they can see it and then they might share it more widely. So this brings us to Instagram. Instagram is slightly different because it's an app based on photographs and you need to have permission of the person who's taken the photograph because it belongs to them. You can't just share it willy-nilly. That's true for all photographs on the internet. So you need to get permission, and it's part of Instagram's core terms and conditions that you do get permission before sharing images. Once you get permission, you also need to attribute the source. And this is a really good example. This is Denise Duffield-Thomas, who has a massive, massive following. This was the way that she was responding to Black Lives Matter by sharing this cartoon. And she's got this lovely little attribution and thank you to the person who owns the image. And he replies, liking her. I bet you like that because she does have a really massive audience. So it's a nice example of how to thank a source. On Instagram, because of this thing about permission, there's a lot of activity around user-generated content strategies. So this is where if you have an Instagram account and you want to share other people's content, you get permission by setting up a competition or challenge or asking people to use a custom hashtag. And once they are in the competition or challenge or using the hashtag, you can part of it is that they've given you permission to reshare their content. So quite a lot of accounts use user-generated content in a very smart way, and it can be a really effective way to grow. This is Buffer saying that they grew 400%, and as they're massive anyway, that's a huge growth by using user-generated content, so somebody else's content. Here's an example of this being done by GoPro, where they have set up a competition, GoPro Live It challenge, and they are asking people to submit their pictures and they then give prizes to the best pictures and share the best pictures on their social feeds. So this is a great way of attracting people to give you their content and also demonstrate. In this case, it's a really good fit with GoPro because it allows the company to demonstrate the innovative ways people are using their GoPro cameras. For instance, to go inside a hive of bees. This is a pet company where they're actually putting their user-generated content strategy in their profile. So they're saying, celebrate your pets with us using Petstock Australia for a chance to be featured, inviting people to submit their pictures, and then they share them on their account. So this is a regramming is turned into their core content strategy. You can also share someone's post to your Instagram story. You still need to get permission, and in order to share it, you just, I'm sure you know, but you just tap on the aeroplane symbol and you choose the add post to your story option as opposed to add post to feed. The Instagram help's got lots and lots of useful stuff if you need to ask them, you need to look anything else up. So that's a quick skip through how you can use your own social media accounts to find great content. And it may be that you don't need anything more than to use your main social media account if you set it up in the right way. But here are a few other ideas that I really like. This is answerpublic.com, and how this works is you type in your search term down on this bar here, and it collects together a huge range of really useful content. I've done a little demo on how to use this, which is on the module page. If you pay to use it, it's $99 a month, but each day they offer you 1 or 2 free searches, and it's very powerful. So I would really encourage you, if you've got a topic that you're a bit stuck on, pop it in there and see what they come up with, and have a look at the example that I did on the video. I'd also really recommend Amazon, and I've done a little demo on that, although everybody does know how to use Amazon. And if you put in your topic, it's really interesting to see what books people have been writing around topics that you are trying to post content on. And I'm suggesting that you can use this in 2 ways. And one is that you go and have a look at what the people who are reviewing are saying. That gives you a bit of an insight into the sort of issues that they're exploring and why they find this content useful. And sometimes you can use that when you're thinking about what you want to write on this topic. The other thing is you go and look up the authors on social, and you'll often find that they're sharing really great content that you can then reshare. So Amazon, super good source to use for your researching your themes. It's good for things like walking, or it would be good for Galway. It would be good for obscure things like steam railways, things like that. You can always find some great content on Amazon to talk about. And then also I've popped in here Feedly. Feedly is also something I really love using it. And how Feedly works, I've done a little demo of this as well, is when you install an extension on your Chrome browser, which means that when you're searching on the internet and you find content which is relevant to your themes, you can just click your Feedly icon, which looks like that on your Chrome browser bar, and it'll pop it into your Feedly account. You can group it under what they call boards, but they're like different topic headings. So this is my culture in Sheffield theme that I use for my social. And here are some articles that I've recently captured. And they just sit in Feedly. And then when I'm planning my content, I can open up my Feedly account and go and look through and see what I might like to be using for my curated strategy. So this week, what I'm suggesting is that you do some research for each of your themes. Put aside a bit of time just to sit and think about what sources you want to use for finding curated content. And I've done you a little worksheet where you can note down for each theme, note down 1 or 2 sources that you think will be a good place for you to go for content. And this means that you've already done the thinking, the hard work. And when you're coming on to planning your content, you can just quickly go to those sources and find some good ideas. So I hope that makes sense, and I look forward to talking to you later on in the week about it. Check it's all fitting with your themes and it's working for you well. And that's the end of Module 4.